plaintiff, Sherman Brown Jr., was married to the defendant, but he claims he caught her meeting with other men online, and then she cheated on him with his best friend. He's suing his ex for breach of contract. Defendant Monica Brown says it took her 15 years to escape Sherman's mental and verbal abuse. And once she did, she was forced to file a restraining order against him for stalking and harassing her. She's countersuing for the harassment.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you, sir.
Yes, sir. Miss G. Brown and I were high school sweethearts. I got out of high school. She got pregnant. We got married. Had been married for 29 years. Marriage was going fine. And like any other marriage, we had our ups and downs. Marriage really didn't get really rocky until 2014. My wife was actually doing an online dating situation. And when I found the emails for the online situation, doing my research, I found out that she was actually being catfish. The guy she was talking to, those pictures were on another website under a different name.
How did you all discuss that? How was that worked? What happened with that?
Okay, so with that situation, that was a tension situation in itself. I did react in that situation. She was, I think she was going for a job, and the people called the house, and I was off work that day, and they wanted to speak to her, and I told them she has issues. She has issues here. She needs to work out before she takes a job. So, of course, she got upset because they didn't give her a job. But that wasn't the only time on it that we had an issue with Ms. Brown. That's been an issue the whole marriage with Ms. Brown cheating. You know, I've dealt with that. She dated one of my best friends. You know, it's just was young. This has just been this whole thing has just been a fiasco. The straw that broke the camel's back was Ms. Brown refused to stop texting the same person, texted them multiple times. First time we were out at a restaurant or whatever, and he texted her, and I was like, "Who texted you?" She said, "Nobody." Okay, nobody texted. Okay, fine. I let it go. We're at another restaurant, Chinese restaurant. Same text message. She got up to go to the bar. Text message. I grabbed the phone. I could call the number back. She catches me with her phone, and she gets very upset.
Yeah, why are you doing this to yourself? That's what I tell folks. When you go and do all this checking, and if you have a suspicion, then make up your mind what you believe, or just leave it as suspicion, but don't hurt yourself. If you're convinced and say defer them papers or do what you're gonna do, but you just continue to hurt yourself. Let me see that text. Let me see what you're doing here. Aha. You're looking for hurt. Mm-hmm. You're looking for pain.
No. I'm looking for the truth because you already
know. You already knew.
I'm looking for the truth.
He's lying, sir.
Let me hear from her some. Go ahead.
Yes, we were.
Tell me about this best friend of his, but go ahead. I'll let you tell me.
We were married for 29 years. Out of the 29 years, Mr. Brown probably worked 10 of those years. I have taken care of Mr. Brown. He has been a professional student.
I disagree.
Let her finish. Go ahead, ma'am.
And it has not been what he's saying about me. I have worked 2 and 3 jobs. Over the last 5 years, it has been verbal abuse. It has been stalking and harassment. He has threatened me. I've received over 700 emails and text messages. He has posted that he sent me text messages that if I didn't cash out him money right then, this is after I left, that he would put nude photos of me online, and I have that in evidence that I've submitted. I've gotten a restraining order for him for stalking and harassment. That was last year. This has been continuous. This about me being with other men, not with Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown rules with an iron fist. It has taken me 15 years to break away from this man. So what he's saying is wrong. He also has been burnt. When he got the restraining order, he has violated that, where he served over 30 days in jail for violation. And since then, he's been on social media doing live broadcasts 2 and 3 hours, burning my belongings. He is still in the family home, which the judge has asked him and ordered him to leave in the decree. And he's still there. I have a contempt out for that. This is what he's telling you is wrong.
Is any of that true, sir?
Everything for this man.
All right. Is any of that true, what she said?
Very little of it, Your Honor. Your Honor, do you see that little woman in front of you? That little woman in front of you, Your Honor, is the most controlling person you ever want to meet.
Well, the good news, you don't have to worry about that anymore. When did you all divorce?
Exactly.
When did you divorce?
I filed
April 7th. The divorce was filed April 7th.
All right, so you don't have to worry about any of that anymore.
She's a very vindictive and spiteful person, Your Honor. Ms. Brown had me arrested. But she tried to have me arrested because she wasn't paying for the vehicle that my name was on.
Sir, did you do 30 days in jail for anything relating to her?
Relating, yes, because what happened was, Your Honor,
what happened?
When she did that, when she called the police refused to do anything because the car that I was looking for is in my name. They ran the check and said, "Man, we can't do anything to him. That is his car." So then what she does is she runs back to where we used to live at and she filed a restraining order. They give her one. She had no reason. She never saw me. She never talked to me. But because the court always caters to women, they gave her a restraining order.
Suspicion, and make up your mind what you believe, or just leave it as suspicion, but don't hurt yourself. If you're convinced and say defer them papers or do what you're gonna do, but you just continue to hurt yourself. Let me see that text. Let me see what you're doing here. Aha, you're looking for hurt. You're looking for pain.
Defendant Monica Brown was married to the plaintiff, and she claims once she escaped his mental and verbal abuse, he started stalking her and threatened to post nude photos of her online.
What happened with the restraining order? Did you do 30 days?
I did 36 days.
Why?
And it was a false police report, because she said that I sent her a Facebook message up, so that was a violation of the
police and the judge. Everybody believed her. Nobody believed you?
I showed them proof.
Yes, they did.
I had proof.
Nobody believed me.
Nobody believed you?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I was going to a place to visit a friend. It was a mutual friend.
Sir, you did the 30. Sir, you've done the 36 days now. I can't help you retroactively. No one believed you. That's why you did 36 days. So all this I did, and the police, she lied to the police, she lied to the judge, she lied to this, that, and the other. That means none of them believed you.
Your Honor, it was for a Facebook message. It was for a Facebook message. A Facebook message. She never saw me. She never talked to me, Your Honor. The county in which the incident happened refused to file charges because they said it was nothing.
They said no contact.
Hold on, ma'am, let's move on. Now he's saying the county said it was nothing. They just said, just go do 36 days since you ain't got nothing else to do.
Your Honor,
you ain't really done nothing. But if you got time, if you got a little extra time on your hands, be a good guy and just go do 36 days in jail. That wasn't nothing. Because Sheriff, could you open up and let him in and 36 days for this nothing? Sir, what's the breach of contract you're suing for?
Ms. Brown actually took some of my jewelry and had it pawned. Okay, she got $1,200 off of the jewelry.
When?
Agreed to make the payments on the jewelry.
When?
May of 2019.
May of 19, you all were married. And what happened while you were married? What did your wife do with the joint property?
It was not, it was my jewelry. It wasn't joint property.
Oh, you got the jewelry before you got married?
No.
Okay.
I bought it while I got.
All right. Well, let a judge tell you. Let a judge inform you that any property you buy after marriage is joint, regardless of who wears it.
Okay.
Because you just decide you want to wear something differently. Y'all can argue. I bought it with my money. Well, why you want to wear it? I just feel like that today. That's property, sir. But go ahead.
So she pawned the jewelry. She agreed to make the payments on the jewelry. She stopped making payments on the jewelry. She got mad after she left the home. She stopped making the monthly payments on it. That's money that I had to pay.
And you have a divorce decree?
Yes.
Where is that?
That is page number That's page number 4.
And because that addresses everything you just said. That'll address it. I'm going to go with what they said. Judge had already decided about that property. Either that, if you didn't mention it, you better go back and get your decree amended to address that property.
Your Honor, if you look at page 1 of the evidence,
I'm looking at the decree. Point it out to me where they address division of property. That's what we need to look at. Okay, I see division of property. I see automobiles.
And all she asked for was the car.
I see automobiles and I see marital residence. I don't see anything else about property. You want to point something out?
Right, because the other stuff is mine. The other property is mine. So the only thing that the judge divided up.
Show it to me where it says everything is yours. Show it. Point that out to me in the decree.
What do you mean everything? Everything is not
whatever you're saying is yours. Point it out in the decree. Read it. The judge determines who owns what in the decree. I'm not going to read it. You have to read it and prove your case. Your counterclaim for $5,000, the abuse. Do you have evidence that that occurred at any point? I heard what you told me, and we know he did 36 days.
Absolutely, sir. So as I stated, during the marriage, I have paid the majority of everything. If you look on pages 4 and 5, where I received the text message, if you don't give me $300 right now, I am going to post your nude pictures online. I also have on page 7 where he is talking about not leaving me alone. I've begged him to leave me alone. Also on page 9, where I've told him I'm in fear of my life. I have over 700 emails that was sent from Mr. Brown. He had threatened me in December of 2019, told me he was going to kill me and throw me out of a window. I left the family home with a bag of clothes and 2 pair of shoes, asking if I could return to get my other stuff. He said no.
Why are you laughing, sir? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Because, Your Honor, because she's lying. Because she's lying, Your Honor.
Now he's saying the county said it was nothing. They just said, just go do 36 days since you ain't got nothing else to do.
Your Honor,
you ain't really done nothing.
Your Honor,
but if you got time, if you got a little extra time on your hands, be a good guy and just go do 36 days.
Defendant Monica Brown was married to the plaintiff, and she claims once she escaped his mental and verbal abuse, he started stalking her and threatened to post nude photos of her online.
How about the threat to put her on the internet unless she gave you $300? How about that? Is that a lie?
I don't recall it, Your Honor.
Okay, well, she has ma'am, you should file charges against him for what he did. You should file charges against him for extorting you. That 36 days, that's nothing compared to what will happen if you pursue this and you have the evidence right here in writing. In the meantime, you have not proven one thing that's in the divorce decree that would entitle you to any judgment of anything you're asking for. Therefore, your claim is dismissed, and I wish I could give you more than $5,000. $5,000 is yours. Have a good day. Bye. Bye. Judgment for the defendant.
You know what? I feel so sad for you.
I wish you well. I have done everything in my life to help you be a better person. What you have done to me and your children, these lies that you keep telling people, you don't work, you have not been a man, and it is ridiculous of what you have continued to put me through.
Plaintiff Rebecca Simon says she and the defendant became good friends because their daughters were good friends and they confided in each other about everything. However, Rebecca's suing because she loaned the defendant $200 and has yet to be repaid. Defendant Heather Winkler admits she was good friends with Rebecca, but she ended their friendship because she suspected that Rebecca was abusing pain pills.
Start with you, Rebecca, and then we'll get to Heather.
Okay, so...
I know those are very white names. It's funny. I hope you don't mind me saying, I hope it don't offend you. I mean, them niggas are real white. You ain't heard nobody... Yeah, I guess you did have Rebecca. I know some black Rebeccas. I ain't never heard no black Heather. I ain't never heard no black Heather. And the Rebecca mean Becky. Becky with the good hair, isn't that what Beyonce? That was in her song, Becky with the good. She was talking about the white woman trying to mess with Jay-Z, I believe they say.
Really?
Yeah, that's what Becky, they say, was in there. I think I'm right. How folks be thinking that I don't know what's happening? You ever heard of a white man named Greg?
Yeah.
Maybe, okay. Yeah. How about a white woman named Shaniqua?
Friends like named Shaniqua.
No offense to y'all, but you know, I like to have fun, and that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But that was fun. And we're not afraid of race issues because we're all feeling comfortable with each other's ethnicity and background, so we can play, we can do all that. If we think we're offending, apologize, ask if you're offending. So, all right, and tell me how you know your friend. Give me some background.
We met last April. It was around April when it started to become nicer out.
I know a couple white guys named Tyrone.
You don't know no white guy named Tyrone. Ain't no white man named Tyrone or Jerome.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I know black men named Pete. I'm so sorry. That's what we do on this show. We have fun, get distracted, but we usually come back to the subject at hand. So we're back to the subject at hand. You all have known each other since April of last year?
Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah, the year that everyone lost. How did you all meet during that time?
Our daughters would always play at the park. And me and Heather became really close. We would talk about my problems, her problems, what was going on in each other's lives, and everything was good. Yeah. At least I thought things were okay. And then earlier this year...
She moved on you for a loan.
Yeah.
How long after knowing her?
It was May of this year.
You sure it was alone or wasn't babysitting?
Yeah, she needed it to keep her phone on. It was for her phone bill.
How did you respond? She asked you about it?
She asked me for the loan through text message. We were really good friends. So
How much was it?
It was $200.
Okay. And what was their payment agreement?
At the beginning, she did say she would pay me back, but she didn't give a specific time. She just said when she can come up with the money, she would pay me back. And as the messages went on, she said, the next time I see you, I'll give you $100 and the rest later. Well, I saw her at her kid's dad's house that one time and everything, and I wasn't gonna say anything, and she didn't offer me the $100 that she said she would give me.
No offense to y'all, but you know, I like to have fun, and that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But that was fun. And we're not afraid of race issues because we're all feeling comfortable with each other's ethnicity and background, so we can play.
Plaintiff Rebecca Simon is suing her former friend, who suspects Rebecca abuses pain pills.
Let me allow her to give some background. Okay. Let me allow Miss Winkler. That's your Heather Winkler.
Yes.
You know what I like about that Winkler? Never heard a black person's last name Winkler. You know what that means? That means that the Winklers didn't own any slaves. Because black folks get their names from slave masters. Whether you want to embrace it or not, I don't know what y'all thinking. But yeah, Winkler. That's my kind of family. Well, your ancestors, they all right with me. They didn't have any of my ancestors. None of my ancestors are known that Winklers. So tell me about the friendship first and what happened there.
Yes, so Miss Becky, as I'd like to refer to her as, we did become very good friends. Our daughters they were in the same class together, so we would pick up our children together, then they would play on the playground together. We would sometimes hang out daughters, like she said, play dates every now and then. Over some time, I started noticing different things about Becky, as far as her mannerisms, as far as how she was kind of going on with the way that she would speak to me or the way that she would react towards certain things. For example, if her daughter were to hand her backpack, she would go very slowly to get the backpack or drop the backpack. So again, as time went on, I think that Miss Simon is either on some sort of painkiller or some other sort of drug, because everything is very slow. And the dropping of things, the glazy eyes, there was one instance where she actually mentioned where she was at my ex's house that she fell down a step. So that, to me and my ex, kind of was like, okay, there's something else going on here. Then we decided to end the friendship between my daughter and her daughter, and the reasoning is because there was a car ride with my ex and my daughter and her daughter. And during this car ride, her daughter had mentioned that she was bisexual.
How old are they?
7.
How did she say it? How did she say it? She doesn't even know what bisexual means. She said, I like girls and boys?
Yes, and she said that.
That's how she said it?
Yes.
I like girls and boys.
Yes, because my ex turned
Seemed
around.
like they're still confused at age 7, but.
That was the cherry on the top for both me and my ex to end that friendship.
Why?
Because my 7-year-old, our 7-year-old, has never heard that terminology before, and that's not something that we wanted to teach her at the age of 7.
At age 7, got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it was 100% feeling like Miss Simon is on some sort of painkiller with all of the slow responses, and then the way that her daughter started talking around our daughter. So she is right about the loan. She did give me $200 outside of her home. Her husband was present.
In May. And
yes.
when were you to repay?
Yes. I did tell Miss Simon that I would pay her back. I am a single mom of 3, so it is hard sometimes, and I did lose my job February 12th due to COVID. I understand that it's only $200, but $200 at this time and at that time is a lot of money for a mom with 3
children. And so that's why you're unable to pay at this point, but you're at least honest enough to tell me that that's what it is. Do you want to respond to the allegation that you moved too slow? Maybe you worked too hard and you're just sleeping.
No, none of that.
Well,
she stopped talking to me.
You don't know whether she's taking pills or smoking crack, because if you smoke crack all night, you're tired during the day too. You're moving slow. Am I right or wrong, ma'am?
What?
Aren't you, when you smoke crack all night, don't you move slow the next day?
I guess. I'm not sure.
You're a little sure.
But I am not on any type of drug. Like, not at all. I didn't.
Be? When you stop?
I'm just overweight.
When did you stop?
That's basically it. What?
When did you stop?
Stop what? Drugs?
Yeah.
I never been on any drugs.
Well, why are you slow about answering?
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Most people say, in fact, they get indignant.
No.
Drugs? How dare you, Your Honor?
Okay, but I have never been on any drugs. Any type of anything.
Get indignant with me.
What?
Indignant means get mad, act a fool on me. Say, Judge, why would you accuse me of that?
Okay.
This is the best case. This is the most fun I've had today. So thank you, ladies. Thank you.
Plaintiff Rebecca Simon is suing her former friend, who suspects Rebecca abuses pain pills.
It's unfair to speculate she's on drugs, just like it's unfair for me to call everybody to come in here a crackhead, because they're not. So it's unfair. But I'll be playing and you're not playing. That's the difference. So don't do that anymore.
Rather I moved slow or anything like that, she still came to me and asked me for the loan. I was a friend. I gave her the money. She said she would pay me back. I was there through everything. And, like, she didn't even come to me and tell me what my daughter said to her daughter. I had to hear from her ex of what her daughter said. She didn't tell me. I tried to tell her, well, what did my daughter say? Oh, I have no problem telling you. Well, and then why don't you? She didn't.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have something to say. We were in my ex's household when this conversation happened. So she was told at the same time while our two daughters were downstairs. And at that point, they left the home. And my ex and myself had to tell our daughter that she was no longer allowed to hang out with Madison.
My daughter has older siblings that, teach her things. Like, if I would have known that, I would have talked to my daughter. But I did not know what things my daughter said until her ex told me.
That's not true.
I had to find out from her ex.
All right.
That's not true.
Well, I'm going to leave that alone. It's up to you to determine the maturity of your child when you want to explain orientations and self-identity, and you have to respect that. No one should be upset about the children separating because of different values that different parents have. What I will say, ma'am, you keep talking about how slow she is. You slower than her. She's quick to give you that loan, but you slow to pay her back. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
Well, I guess I came here to get justice, and I did, and now we can just move on and go our separate ways.
I love to move on. Thank you.
Plaintiff Joni Brown dated the defendant, and she claims everything was good until the defendant cheated on her with his ex. Joni insists the defendant is the father of her twins, but he denies it. So she petitioned the court for a paternity test. Defendant Terrell Burton insists he saw another man running out of Joni's hotel room around the time she conceived, and that's why he has doubts about being the father of her twins.
Let's begin with you.
Okay. I actually have known Terrell since I was 16 years old. He's actually my deceased brother's cousin on his father's side. So in 2020, me and Terrell started to talk and I guess have a relationship or whatever. It's on his.
Say that again.
He is my brother's cousin on my brother's dad's side. Me and my brother have different fathers. That's it's not no incest, cuz. Two different families.
I think that's illegal. Where's my law book?
Yeah, around here somewhere.
Give my law book. Well, go ahead. I'll let you.
Okay. I got off my.
I
lost track. Okay.
So sorry.
Yeah, 'cause you threw me off with that.
I gotta have fun when you come in here. You know you can't get out of here without the fun.
Okay. So yeah, we started dating in late 2020. Everything was pretty good between us up until around like the end of September, October-ish, when I found out that Terrell was cheating on me with a previous baby mother, whatever.
How did you find that out?
From her, kind of from him.
Is he gonna admit it?
Maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, so I found that out, and then also his behavior started changing, and he just started acting really weird or whatever.
What?
Well, I deal with people. My job, I deal with people that use drugs, and it was just like his behavior was like, just strange behavior.
Stay tuned. The case continues after this.
Plaintiff Joni Brown insists the defendant is the father of her twins, but he has doubts, so she petitioned the court for a paternity test.
What impression did you have of him
the first
in his
incident,
drug use?
Well, the first incident that happened with his usage, we were being intimate, and he hadn't climaxed, and I thought that was strange or whatever. So the next day, I asked him about it, and he had admitted to me that he had took an ecstasy pill. So that was my first incident with him using some type of drug. The next incident happened when I was on FaceTime with him and he was hanging out with some friends or whatever. And, you know, he just did like that, like on camera. I guess it was cocaine.
Not true, Your Honor.
So he just, you know, did it on camera like, you know, just it was normal.
That. He's too old for that. I don't mean to say too old, sir, but you're beyond that demographic, put it that way, of young people who are showing illegal activity on the internet. And they're doing it regularly, but they're usually under like 30, sir. Please tell me you weren't doing it.
No, sir.
Okay. And what led to well, I know what led to I don't know what led to the pregnancy. You just said the man wasn't climaxing, so how did you get pregnant? What you here for then?
No.
Well, I mean, he did, obviously, at one point did.
Oh, on one, okay.
He wasn't always on ecstasy.
Were you all trying to have a child?
Oh no. He already has 8 other children. I wasn't trying to.
Okay. All right. Well, what you expect? The man got 8 children. He stay high. The only time he ain't high is when he away. He ain't high today because he's not there with him having to deal with the issues of having 8 children. Go ahead, sir. Tell me about meeting and being with Miss Brown.
Okay, I met Joni like off what she said in 2020, August 2020. And everything started off good.
Okay, speak up a little. You got the dope fiend voice. She said it was only ecstasy. So speak up, because you sound like you got the hair around in your voice. Go ahead. What do you do? You sound like a dope fiend from the projects. Go ahead.
Okay, I met Joni in August 2020. Everything started out good. She had told me that she was dating a guy that was incarcerated at the time. So we got a little more serious as the time graduated, you know what I'm saying? So we made some agreements and stuff to say that, she wasn't gonna mess with him anymore, and I had my dealings with my baby mothers from previous relationships and stuff, and we gonna cut it off and we gonna make this thing work. So I discovered that she had was communicating with the guy, still incarcerated, but we kind of still in the fresh of things, the yoke of things, so I kind of like brought it to her attention, like, Joni, you wouldn't want this. Now, I'm not perfect either, you know what I'm saying? So I had my own stuff going on that I hurt her with along the way, I think, like, my actions probably made me be who I was, What
does that mean?
For us, like, I still was seeing my other baby mama and stuff like that, and I'm telling her one thing, and I'm doing another one, which is the same thing that I'm trying to get at with the point with her,
You're suggesting today that you only cheated after she did? Or after she refused to stop communicating?
I can honestly say yes, Your Honor. I can honestly say yes. Because I was on a thing to where I'm like, you know what, okay, she's a beautiful lady, and I've known her for a while. I never would have thought of being with her, but I just one day and it kind of bounced in, so
that don't sound, that don't sound right. That doesn't sound made for television.
Okay, well, I had hollered at her.
There you go. Tried to see her on a regular basis romantically.
Right.
That's what is the essence of what you're saying?
I wasn't looking at it like that. I was just...
Well, what were you trying to do? I'm done with you, man. You ain't getting me put off TV. I'm moving on from you. So how did we throw the paternity in question? How did that come into question?
Okay, so, back to the drugs. He doesn't just take ecstasy and the cocaine that it really happened. This year in June, we went to Florida because my dad was sick. We were on vacation and we got into an argument, and I was like, you know what, I'm ready just to go back to Louisiana. So he was like, okay, well, let me just do some, they call it ice. Let me do some ice so I can be ready to drive, because it's like 12 hours because he's from Central Florida.
I don't do hypertension drugs.
So where the issue with the paternity is, he makes up like hallucinations when he gets on these drugs, like we were supposed to move to Texas, and he was like, oh, he seen a guy running out of my apartment. He seen a guy running out of my hotel.
No.
He just
definitely crack.
No, I seen what I seen, Your Honor.
Okay, so you still stick with your story that you saw it.
I saw what I saw. I know what I saw.
Ma'am, you say he saw it, so I'm not going to just take your word for it.
Plaintiff Joni Brown insists the defendant is the father of her twins, but he has doubts, so she petitioned the court for a paternity test.
You didn't tell me what children you had and when. We skipped over that part.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had a set of twins, a boy and a girl, in June of this year.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
So that's what's in question. And so, how do we get from there to being here today?
Well, I mean, throughout my pregnancy, he was in and out. Like, he would come to a doctor's appointment, play perfect dad. Then he would go back to his other baby mama, just in and out. And the same thing is going on currently. Like, it's still an in and out. He'll play with my babies and, oh, they're my kids today. Tomorrow, oh, they're not my kids.
All right, let me hear from you now, sir. You heard what she said. Have you? I know you questioned whether she stopped dealing with her guy and all of that, but do you question the paternity?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because of the guy that was running out the room, and it was around the same time of...
That's such a lie.
Tell me that. Give me the scenario.
What happened?
Guy running out the room.
All right, I had told her, like, I was like, I'm 70 miles from Houston. Because she was in Houston and we supposed to have been moving on, but she got mad because she thought that I was dealing with my other baby mama or whatever the case was. So she proceeds to leave and go to Houston without me. Okay, well, get to a Houston trip or whatever. I get probably right before the exit, I call her phone and I'm like, she asked me like, how long is it before you make it to Houston? I'm like, I'm 70 miles out, which I was lying, just to say, so I'm right here. I pull up to the hotel like the next 2 minutes because I'm getting out the exit. Okay, so I get to the hotel, I'm like, open the door, like that. So she opens the door. She's got on like some clothes, like she just, yeah, it was nice. But when I was talking to you on FaceTime, prior to that, you was on FaceTime with me and stuff like that. You got on night clothes, you got like Momo Betsy and stuff like that.
So she done changed, when you show up at the door, she done changed and everything.
Right, I'm talking about looking like Dinah White. I'm like, oh, this, you know what I mean? So I took a double take, like, okay, all right, man, my nerves bad. So I go walk to my car to get a cigarette and come back. As soon as I got to my car, grabbed a car, got a cigarette, look back, I see a guy, like he ran past, but when he ran past where the room was at, he got like in the parking lot, he pulling up his pants, it's behind all
Hold on, I'm trying to see. Why didn't you go inside the room then?
I don't know, Your Honor. To be honest, I swear I ask myself this question every day. I don't know, and I don't know how I would have went if I would have went into the room or where she would have put him at, probably under the bed in the closet, and then came up with some story and told me that, hey, I got to go to the store right now. I need something to drink and this and that, so that'll give him time to get out. That's my assumption. That's how I be thinking, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you did go down to the car to get a cigarette if what you suspect was occurring, and that is she had a guy in the room when you came in. All right, folks, time for the moment of truth.